Chapter 6, Key Issue 1, is about religion. And so for Key Issue 1, we're looking at where are the religions, the major world religions, distributed. So we're going to go over the distribution of the major religions. So you'll be mapping those in class. We're going to describe the distribution of the major branches of Christianity, major branches of Islam and Buddhism, and the distribution of the world's largest ethnic religions. Before we get into where you find the major religions, there are two main classifications. So we are going to break down religions first into either a universalizing religion or an ethnic religion. A universalizing religion is a religion that can be made global because it can appeal to anybody regardless of their location or their culture. And so what you find with the universalizing religions is that it's easier to convert to that religion. And that people usually look for converts. So they want people to join their religion. About 58% of the world's population practices a universalizing religion. So Christianity, there are 2.1 billion Christians, or at least at the time of the publication of this book. For Islam, there are 1.5 billion Muslims. And Islam is the world's largest growing religion, in part because some of the fastest growing population areas are, in fact, Muslim-based countries. And then Buddhism has 376 million Buddhists. Now, if you've taken some maybe other AP courses or some other college-level courses, you might have been taught, as I was, that Buddhism isn't really a religion, it's a philosophy. But in geography, for this level, we're classifying it as a universalizing religion, even though it's more of a collection of philosophical thoughts than religion. So if you've taken any kind of dual enrollment classes on religions, you might have been taught something a little bit different. We're not going to get into the difference between like a universalizing philosophy or religion. So for this introductory course, we're going to classify Buddhism as a religion. The second main category of religion is ethnic religion. An ethnic religion is going to appeal to one group of people living in one place. Really, like, most people are born into an ethnic religion, and ethnic religions aren't really looking for converts. You might be able to convert to that religion, but it's more complicated. And your ethnicity is tightly tied to being part of that religion. So usually Judaism and Hinduism. If you look at this map, you can see that the orange and reds are different countries where Christianity is spread. So through, Greenland, Canada, United States, all through Central America, Latin America. So most of North and South America are predominantly Christians. Europe, and then Eastern Europe as well. So Western Europe is predominantly either Roman Catholic or Protestant, and then Eastern Europe is primarily Eastern Orthodox. So these areas are all primarily have Christianity as their dominant faith. Parts of sub-Saharan Africa also practice Christianity, or have a majority of their population that practices Christianity, and then also Australia. As far as Islam, you have Northern Africa, Western Asia, and then Southeast Asia. And so this is usually what we think of as the Middle East. And then you also have Bangladesh right there, and then Eastern Asia. Buddhism is right here through East Asia. Sikhism is right here. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then right here in parts of Africa, you have predominantly, African, tribal, indigenous-based religions. We'll talk about those. And then the areas with the lines like this, you have mixes. You can see that Hinduism is primarily in India. And then you can see that Judaism is spread out, but here you've got Israel, and then you've got pockets of Judaism in Canada, Argentina, parts of Brazil, and really in the United States. And, it's spread out through, Judaism is spread out through Europe and the United States as well, but here's large population pockets. If you look at the percentage of the people who are who practice different faiths, you can see that most of the world practices universalizing religions. And here they break it down by category. And another large chunk practices different ethnic religions. And then about 16% of the world's population is non-religious. So let's talk about how we break down religions. When we talk about religions, they are classified as branch. So a branch is the largest group of a religion. And then you have a denomination, which is a division that unites a number of local congregations within a single legal or administrative body. And a sect is a small group that is broken away from an established denomination. So when we talk about religions, their classification is going to go first ethnic or universalizing, the name of the religion, then branch, denomination, and sect. So like the three major branches of Christianity in Europe would be Roman Catholic, Protestant, and Orthodox. Roman Catholicism is dominated in southwestern and eastern Europe. Protestantism is dominant in northwestern Europe. And the Eastern Orthodox branch is still dominant in Eastern and Southeastern Europe, just like we looked at on the map. In the Western Hemisphere, about 93% of Christians in Latin America are Roman Catholic, and about 40% are Catholic in the United States and Canada and Mexico. Protestant churches have approximately 82 million members in the United States, and the Baptist Church has about 37 million members in the United States. So the Baptist Church has the largest number of adherents as far as a denomination of Protestant churches. So again, branches of Christianity in North and South America is predominantly Roman Catholic and Protestant. And then you can break down those further into denominations, like baptism or Baptists. If you look at the majority church membership by county, you can see some patterns. So people who are Catholic are kind of here along the western coast, the northern part of the eastern coast, spread throughout the coast of Florida, parts of Texas, and then some of the northern states, and then like right through down here. Most people who are Baptist live right here in this area. It's been called the Bible Belt. So if you've heard that term Bible Belt, that is why. Up here we have lots of Lutheran groups. That's what my family was Lutheran. So, and we're from the Midwest, so that makes sense. And then you see the Latter-day Saints are primarily out here out west, although all these denominations are spread out throughout the entire country. Branches that were denominations where they just identify as Christian only have also a big appeal right here in like the Rust Belt area. Methodist also right across the north. Mennonites are kind of spread out through here. And so as you're looking at the breakdown of religious denominations in the United States, as far as Christian denominations, you can see some clear patterns. So you're going to have Latter-day Saints right through here. You're going to have Catholics kind of almost like sending like a ring around the entire country, except for this Bible Belt area. And you're going to find most Lutherans right through here. And that kind of mimics their German ancestors, so the settlers from Germany that came there. As far as Islam, there are two branches of Islam, major branches. There are the Sunnis. It's the largest branch in most Muslim countries in Southwest Asia and North Africa. About 83% of all Muslims are Sunni. And then there are Shiites, and the Shiite branch is mostly concentrated in the Middle Eastern countries of Iran, Azerbaijan, Iraq, Oman, and Bahrain. And that accounts for about 16% of all Muslims. When we talk about some religious conflicts, one of the big religious conflicts in the Middle East would be between the Sunni and the Shia. And so here's the distribution, so you can kind of see that clear pattern. See what percent of people are Muslim in the Middle East. For Buddhism, there are three major branches, including Mahayana, Theravada, and Vairanga. Mahayana is 56% of all Buddhists, and they're located primarily in China, Japan, and Korea. The Theravada is about 38% of Buddhists, and you'll find most Theravada Buddhists in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. And the Vajrayana are about 6% of all Buddhists, and they are located primarily in Tibet and Mongolia. And so here you can see the distribution of Buddhists and Sikhs. So for your location assignment for this chapter, it should be pretty easy because you could look at most of these maps and figure out, what religion is dominant in your country. Ethnic religions often stay within the culture where they originated. The exception would be Judaism because they're spread out more across the world. They typically have more clustered distributions than universalizing religions. And the ethnic religion with the largest number of followers is Hinduism. There are about 900 million adherents, and they're almost all concentrated in India and Nepal. So as you can see, about 90% of the world's Hindu population is in India, 3% in Nepal, 2% in Bangladesh, and 5% spread out elsewhere. A combination of Buddhism with Confucianism, Taoism, and other traditional practices is practiced in East Asia and Southeast Asia. They kind of blend together Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and make their own little small ethnic religion. It's called syncretism, like, synchrony, adding things together. Animism is an ethnic religion whose followers believe that inanimate objects or natural events have spirits and a conscious life. So about 100 million Africans adhere to animism. Animism is, it's like an ethnic spiritual belief that's very closely associated with most indigenous religions. So if you look at the breakdown of traditional religion in Africa, you can see that most of sub-Saharan Africa was adhering to animism or other indigenous religions in 1900. And by 1990, you have just, much smaller areas where animism is predominantly practiced. As far as Judaism, Judaism is the first religion that's recorded to espouse or embrace monotheism, or the belief that there's only one God. So most world religions before Judaism practiced polytheism, the worship of a collection of gods. About 2/5 of all Jewish people live in the United States today, and 2/5 live in Israel. Christianity and Islam find some of their roots in Judaism. So Judaism is what's known as an Abrahamic religion. And these Abrahamic religions first. And Abraham, most of Judaism is present in the Old Testament of the Christian Bible, and it's also adopted throughout the Quran. So Judaism really was, like the founding religion for both Christianity and Islam. And we'll go over why religions have different distributions on key issue 2.